up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin. I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. All right, so tanning video number 3 in our self-tanning series. We are going to be talking about the Bondi Sands Aero Ultra Dark Self-Tanning Foam. I'm very excited. Bondi Sands is one of the first brands that my sister and I ever used when we first started getting into fake tan, probably like 2016, 2017. Bondi Sands and Loving Tan were really the only 2 brands that I had heard of at the time. I feel like since then, a lot of brands have come out. Well, I guess Saint Tropez too. I used to use like the Saint Tropez gradual tanning lotion way back in the day. But when I first started getting into self-tan, it was Loving Tan or Bondi Sands all the time. So I love Bondi Sands. That being said, they have several different formulas, and this is a formula that I personally have not tried. So this is, again, like I said, the Aero Ultra Dark. It's not the 1 Hour Express, it's just the regular Ultra Dark. So if you're interested, let's get right into the video. All right, first things first. Claims of this tan. What can we expect? So it says, experience the next generation in self-tan with Bondi Sands Aero Ultra Dark, our darkest aerated self-tanning foam. With dual tanning actives and our signature coconut scent, this ultra lightweight aerosol foam will leave your skin with the deepest, long-lasting Australian tan. And then it says to leave it on for at least 6 hours. We're gonna try to do a minimum of at least 8 before we wash it off. And then it does say that you can reapply after 30 minutes of your initial application for a deeper tan. I think I'm only gonna do 1 with this today because I am fairly confident that we're gonna be able to get a dark tan with this with 1 coat. So I don't feel like I need to double coat it right off the bat. That being said, we'll see. I've never used this before, but I've heard good things and I have high expectations. So those are the claims. Now let's get into the application. All right, so I've got my tanning mitt on. I have a few tanning mitts. At this point, I have one from Bondi Sands, which is this one. I have one from Bali Body, and then I have the one that came with my Saint Tropez Ashley Graham bundle. I have to say this one is by far my favorite. I really prefer the Bondi Sands mitt out of all of the ones I've used. I just think it's like, it applies the smoothest and it doesn't like bunch up on my hands. The Bali Body one gets on my nerves because it like bunches up as I'm trying to like smooth things out. So if you need a mitt and you're in the market for one, I would try this one out. So I'm just gonna get a nice little squeeze of this tan on the mitt to start. Definitely very moussey, looks like chocolate mousse. And from a couple of the videos that I have watched, this is pretty quick drying, so you have to work with it pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. And just by looking at the mousse right away, I can tell it definitely has a nice olive undertone. And I like a nice olive color, so that works for me. And this does smell really nice. It does have a really nice kind of tropical coconut scent. Yeah, this looks really nice. I'm excited for this because if you guys watched my last tanning video, my Ashley Graham one, I was a little disappointed in that one, if we're being honest. So I'm hoping we have better luck with this one. So you can see like my little tan line here. Looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. Smells delicious. I really like that color. And it is pretty quick drying. I don't feel completely dry, but I definitely don't feel super sticky either, which is great because I actually am going to be going out, like getting dressed and going out while marinating in this tan tonight. We're going to a Tampa Bay Lightning game because they're playing the Rangers, which is Sean's team. Sean's family is from Jersey, and they like all New York teams, unfortunately, because I'm a Philly girl and I like all Philly teams. So pretty much all of our sports teams are rivals, but it makes it fun. But anyway, we both love the Bolts. We've kind of adopted the Tampa teams as secondary teams, but they're playing the Rangers tonight. So I'm rooting for the Bolts and Sean is rooting for the Rangers. And my sister's here visiting too, so she's rooting for the Bolts with me too, you know. Anyway, my point is I am going to be wearing this like out and about while it's developing. So I chose this one because I did anticipate this one to be a little bit drier and less likely to transfer. And then as usual, once I've got it on my arm, I'm just going to take the extra on my elbow. I did already prep all of my dry areas, so elbows, knees, feet, and hands have all been prepped with my thick moisturizing cream. If you're interested a little bit more in my tan prep, I did talk about that process a little bit more in my Loving Tan Platinum video, so I will link that in case you guys want to watch it. I probably will do a separate video on my tanning prep tips as well. I don't feel like I need to talk about it in every video. I feel like that'll make every video really long and be really repetitive. So I'll link it below, and I'll put a card in this video as well. If you're interested in watching it, just go ahead and navigate to that one. It's time-stamped as well, so you will be able to go right to the prep tip portion of that video. All right, so I haven't done my hands yet, but here is the difference in my arm. So this is my tan arm. This is my not tan arm. I'm having a hard time seeing if you can really tell a difference. Let me turn this light down for a sec. Okay, I think that's better. So I just turned the light down, so I think you can see the difference a little bit better. This one has the tan on it, and this one doesn't. So we're just starting to build a nice little olivey, bronzy glow here on this arm. All right, and then I'm just gonna get a little dot on the mitt for my hands. Taking my brush here and just working it in, making sure we don't have too much on that brush at one time. And I'm just gonna paint it on like so. One thing I will say is that this tan is kind of absorbing into my mitt really quickly. So again, I think just be aware that this is a product that you'll have to work pretty fast with. I was mentally prepared for that coming into this because I have watched a few videos on this tan already. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and do my other arm. Wow, hopefully you guys, I should stand back a little bit. Hopefully you can't see that I probably should shave my eyebrows. Listen, we don't pretend to be perfect on this channel, okay? We don't pretend. You guys get the real me. Lucky you. All right, guys, so here is the tan just applied to my chest and arms and neck, basically. One thing I did forget to mention is that I did already do my skincare, and I do have my self-tan face product on already, so that should be slowly developing as well. I use the Saint Tropez vitamin D and E self-tan glow serum for the face. It's called, I don't know if that's the exact name, that was very rambly, but it's something like that. I'll link it below so you know what I'm talking about. But I do not put self-tan on my face. I have very sensitive skin on my face, and it will break me out. I can't do it. So I always put something that's specifically made for the face on my face. So I would say right off the bat, the color is really nice. It kind of is what I expected, to be honest. It's very golden, very bronzy, has that kind of like olive undertone. It's definitely not like a red based tan or anything like that. This is my preferred undertone for tans, so I really like it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go apply this to the rest of my body. Like I said, we are going out tonight, so I am gonna wear this all throughout the night. At this point, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and 8 hours from now would literally be 2 in the morning. So it's very possible that I'm just gonna leave this on through the night and wash off whatever is left of it tomorrow morning. So I'll definitely check in with you guys in the morning once the tan is fully developed. I do wanna say, like I said, there's not 100% no stick, but I do feel very dry right now, and I am excited about that. I'm excited about being able to get dressed in my clothes and not feeling like it's gonna get all over the place immediately. So I do feel pretty dry to the touch. I do think that it dries quickly, and I do think you have to work quickly with it. All right, so I'm rambling a little bit at this point. I'm gonna go get ready, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay guys, it's the next day. I have just washed my tan off, and I do have some initial thoughts. So I did end up leaving my tan on overnight, so I really am not even sure how many hours I left it on, to be completely honest, but I left it on, you know, for the max amount possible. So for the most part, I am happy with the color. I feel like it reads on camera that I definitely have a nice tan going on, and I do think my arms look pretty tan. I am undecided on this color though. Like, do I think it's ultra dark? I don't know. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting a little too used to looking at my skin with tan on it, and now it doesn't look as dark as I would expect. I don't know. I am iffy on the depth of this color, but that being said, even if right now I'm not feeling like, okay, yeah, it's so dark, it definitely is dark enough, and I feel like I do have a nice kind of beachy glow about me as we're heading to the beach today. So we are actually going to the beach today. That's why I have my little suit on already. So yeah, that's my little update. We are going to take this tan for a test drive for the next 5 to 7 days, and I will come back and give you guys an update with my final thoughts and my final rating for this tan. So I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you guys in a week. All right, you guys, hello, good morning. It is the morning of day 7 of this tan. I'm gonna be honest, I almost forgot this morning that it was day 7. So that being said, let's just get right into it. I am going to give you guys my rating on this tan individually for each of the 5 metrics that I typically rate this on, and then we'll do an overall score and we'll finish with some final thoughts. So the first thing that we always talk about at this point with our tans is the color. So honestly, I do think I have a pretty decent olive color still. It's definitely not as deep as it was when I first applied and washed this tan off, but I am happy with the color. Upon initial application, I feel like this color was almost there for me. I also feel like as I'm going through these reviews, I might be being I might be asking for the impossible a little bit with these tans. I just feel like I'm noticing in myself that I'm like, no tan is dark enough for me. It's not dark enough. It's not dark enough. But that being said, I do feel like the depth of this color was maybe not quite as deep as the Loving Tan Platinum, but definitely deeper overall than the Ashley Graham Saint Tropez tan that I used last week. So I don't know that I would give this color a 5 out of 5, but I am going to give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 because like I said, it was almost there for me. This really gives that nice olive color, and I think a tan with an olive undertone might be what works best for my natural skin tone personally. So I really did love the color. I just want a little bit more depth from this. I think possibly if I double coated it, then I would be even happier with the color than I was this time around. So I'll definitely have to play with that a little bit in the future. So a 4.5 out of 5 for color. Now let's talk about lasting time. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I do feel like I still have a decent color to me. It's not as dark as it was when I first applied it, but it's not completely gone. I do feel like I'm going to have to scrub a little bit to get this tan off so that I can reapply. But I do really feel like I still have that nice subtle olive glow to my skin. So in terms of lasting, I really feel like this has been the best so far in terms of all of the tans that I have tried so far in this series. So honestly, I was just standing here thinking about this. I was gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5 for lasting time. I actually think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5, and here's why. There's still color left on my skin. The past 2 tans, I have felt like there really wasn't very much left, and what was left was patchy. We'll talk about patchiness a little bit more in a few minutes, but like I definitely am not as pale as my natural skin tone right now, and I have 0 patchiness throughout my entire body, which is amazing. So for that being said, because I think that I'm just expecting the impossible with expecting a tan to stay fully dark for 7 full days, I think I'm gonna go ahead and rate this one a 5 out of 5 for lasting time. Faded perfectly. I still have some color and I really have no complaints other than I wish it was a little bit darker. So I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna be bold and give this a 5 out of 5 for lasting time. And then as I just mentioned, leading right into patchiness, our third metric. I mean, my hands are not patchy at all. My elbows, not patchy. My knees, my feet. It's really not patchy anywhere on my skin. So that's really all I have to say about it. I'll keep this one short and sweet. 5 out of 5 for patchiness. I did not experience any from start to finish with this tan, which is amazing. In terms of color transfer of this tan, again, this is an ultra dark tan. It does have a color guide, and for that reason, it does have transfer when you are applying it. With that being said, I put this tan on last weekend when we were going out, and I went out all night with it marinating on my skin, like with the color guide on my skin, and I really didn't notice too much of a problem. I did wear dark clothing and everything like that, but you know, in terms of overall transfer on my clothes, I'm not gonna say there was none, because there definitely was with the color guide, but I really didn't notice anything crazy throughout the week. It really wasn't anything like alarming. So because there wasn't 0 transfer, I'm not gonna give it a 5 out of 5, but definitely like a 4.5 out of 5 for transfer. Pretty standard for the tans that I've tested out so far. The last metric is gonna be smell. And again, it definitely has that, Bondi Sands has like a signature kind of, what is it? Yeah, coconut. They have like definitely a smell that all of their tans smell like, at least all of the ones that I've tried, which is maybe like 2 or 3. I feel like as I was letting it set, like before I washed the color guide off, I could definitely smell it on myself, but it was more just like the fragrance, this like coconut fragrance in it, and not so much like that DHA self-tan smell. So, and throughout the week, I mean, as soon as it was washed off, I didn't smell like anything besides the lotion that I was using to keep the tan on. So it's not that this doesn't have a smell at all, but it doesn't smell bad like self-tan. It just kind of has a nice fragrance while it's marinating, and then when you wash it off, you really don't smell anything. So 5 out of 5 for smell as well. Honestly, guys, like I don't, aside from just wanting it to be a little darker, which I definitely am willing to double coat this to see, I really loved this tan, and I've heard a lot of good things about it since it came out. So I'm glad that it didn't disappoint, but I really liked this. All right, you guys, so if you are doing the math along with me, that brings us to a total overall score of 4.8 out of 5. I knew that I was gonna like end up liking this tan as I was going throughout the week and trying it out. I didn't necessarily know that I was going to give it that high of a score, but as I was standing here really thinking about it and talking about it with you guys, this is a freaking great tan. I really loved it, and I, as you can tell, didn't have too many bad things to say about it. So the only thing that is kind of leaving me hanging with this is if I did double coat it and really let it sit, if I could get a deeper tan for longer, if it would still last, if it would still be really smooth and not patchy, or if maybe the double layer would make it a little bit patchier. I'm curious to test that out, but overall, first impression, 1 coat. For what it did, I was pretty impressed by it. So those are my final thoughts. That being said, that brings us to the end of another self-tan review. So definitely let me know what you guys thought. Have you tried this tan? What are your thoughts on it? Any tips and tricks to get my tan darker? Definitely let me know. If you have made it this far in the video and you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so down below so you don't miss any future uploads from me. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at DevDevGregs over there as well. And with that, I will catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.